I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country here on Fish Creek Radio. I'm really happy to have this gentleman with me today. I got to see these guys opening for Merle Haggard 3 or 4 times, and the first time I saw them, they came out with this big kind of Elvis hair, and I thought, my gosh, who's Haggard got opening for him these days, you know? And as soon as they opened up their mouths and started to sing and play music, it was hardcore country, and I've been a fan ever since. It's a pleasure to have Chris Malpass from the Malpass Brothers with us today here on My Kind of Country. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Scott, and I appreciate you having me.
Well, it's a very distinct pleasure to have you guys, and I'm so glad we had a chance to talk. You know, when you're out there on the road, you don't get a chance to talk a lot, and this is really nice to be able to have you today.
Well, thank you, sir. It is always an honor to get to do these kind of things for people that are trying to keep our kind of music alive.
Well, that's what we're all about here at My Kind of Country, and I thank you guys for it, and I know Merle Haggard said the same thing. He's very thankful that younger people such as yourselves are carrying on the traditional country, and we need somebody to pass the torch to, and you guys have accepted it with willing hands.
Well, thank you, sir. Sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy of it, but we sure love what we do, and we're doing our best to keep it alive.
Well, it certainly shows, and you know, you guys, it was so neat to see it because you have so much fun out there, and of course, you know, Taylor's a little more quiet. I've noticed that, and you kind of make a joke out of that and get him going a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta. Taylor's a little more quiet on stage. See, if he acted like he did off stage, he would clear the house. No, he's a good guy. We try to have fun. We just go out there and be ourselves. You know, I think that's one thing that's missing from music these days is being authentic, and so we just do it like we would do anywhere. We just walk out there and give them our personalities, you know.
Amen. Amen. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the history, and then we're going to talk about, you have a brand new album coming out tomorrow. We're going to talk about that, but I want to ask about your last album, Memory That Bad, and I love it, man. There's some great songs on there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we were working with Merle, and as we still do from time to time, and we recorded that at Merle's studio and did it on Hag Records. And some of the songs were some of Merle's songs, and then some of them were songs that we had written. So it was kind of our debut on writing songs. And it was great to get to use Merle's band, The Strangers. Benny Haggard, Merle's son, who plays lead guitar, that was his first recording. So it was sort of neat to get to have him on there, too. He had just started with the band when we went with Merle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a group thing. You know, Benny had just started, and we were brand new, and it was an exciting time when we recorded Memory That Bad album.
Wow, that's cool. And I see Scott Joss on there. Scott's a great friend of mine, and what a fantastic fiddle player and a heck of a singer.
Oh, man, he's one of my heroes, and to get to be on an album with Merle Haggard, one of my top heroes, and all these guys, Biff and Norm and Scott, I mean, it was just an amazing experience for us.
How did Fuzzy Owen react to old what's-her-name?
Fuzzy, I told Fuzzy, I said, Fuzzy, Tater's cut old what's-her-name. And Fuzzy's way said, oh, he did? He said, I thought everybody had forgot that song. I said, no, sir. And Fuzzy told us one night how much he really appreciated us bringing that song back to surface. It's a great tune, you know.
It is.
People love that song, and Fuzzy's got a lot of credits that you don't always hear about, and songwriting's one of them.
Fuzzy Owen is a country music legend, and he was a pioneer at the Bakersfield Sound, and he and Lewis Talley formed Talley Records together, and of course,
yes, sir.
And of course, that was Merle Haggard's first record label.
Yeah, that's actually strange enough how Taylor and I came into the mix. Merle hadn't heard me play. He had heard about us, and the first time he saw me, he thought that I looked like a young Lewis Talley. And that's kind of how we hit it off. And then when he found out we played and we were the ones that some of the guys that told him about it just kind of worked out. It was kind of weird that you mentioned Lewis Talley because that's how it all started for us.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, you guys do look a little bit alike.
Well, we got the hair.
You got the hair, yeah.
Hair,
That's pretty cool. There's some great songs on that album. I really liked your version of I'm a Good Loser, the old Haggard song.
Oh, man, well, that's pretty much my life. We'll try to record stuff I can relate to.
I hear you, man. And there's the first song on the album. It's kind of interesting. We play Merle's version of it. It's our show opener every week, and it's called "Too Much Boogie Woogie and Not Enough Ernest Tubb."
Well, Merle brought us the song. He said, man, I've got a song for you guys. And he told me, he said, I think maybe you need to take out the part about Merle Haggard. And I said, no. I said, man, you're what we're about, your kind of music. I said, you wrote the song. We can sing about you. I said, it might be weird for you to do it, but we can do it.
Yeah. Well, he changed the line in there on his version, but
yeah, he changed it. I guess it didn't feel right talking about itself, but man, when you're that good, I wasn't going to take Merle Haggard out the song.
Yeah. He told me one time, he goes, he said, I don't talk about myself. I don't like to see pictures of myself. He said, it's like drinking your own bathwater.
Well, we'd sit around and pick, and Merle would play Lefty and Hank and everybody you wanted to. If you started doing his songs, it won't long, and he'd put the guitar in the case.
That's funny. Well, that's a great song. We open our show every week with that song, and I'm going to have to start alternating. I'll play Merle's one week and yours the next week. I think we'll do that.
Man, I appreciate that a whole lot.
That's really cool. And Shelley's Winter Love, too. Man.
Oh, man, yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite songs, and I always wanted to cut that, and it just worked out great that we could cut it.
A lot of people don't know that song was actually inspired by Shelley West, who was Dottie West's daughter. And,
yes, sir.
She is not credited for it, but Dottie West actually sings the harmony on that original Merle Haggard record.
I didn't even know that. That's new for me. I didn't realize she had done the harmony on that record.
Yep, and she was on a different label, and she wasn't credited for it, but she came in and did the harmony on that.
So many great talents back then, man. We've lost a lot of great people. Lucky we still got a few left.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've been very fortunate to have them on my show, and Merle's been on the show, and it's and it's a pleasure to have people like yourself that are carrying on this tradition, and have gotten to work with these legends too.
Well, we just feel blessed, very blessed to get to be around these people and soak up this energy. We've got a big job keeping this music alive. It's not as many folks doing it as there used to be, and that's what we're set out to do, is keep this kind of music going.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm really surprised at the number of artists that are coming out that are doing nothing but traditional country. We're seeing a lot of them here, and we're getting a lot of music in that's recorded by young artists that are doing traditional country, and it seems to kind of be going back to that traditional style again, and I'm all for that.
Man, we want our music back. We feel like we've had something taken away from us, and we don't get the chance to get it in front of the public eye like everybody else. It's so real, and I think there's so much in the world now that's not real that people are hungry for that again. Amen.
You are absolutely right. Well, how did you guys come to get into the music business in the first place? Tell me a little bit about the history there.
Well, my grandparents, my dad's mom and dad, lived right up the road from where I grew up, and my granddaddy ran a little honky-tonk. And he would bring all the 45s home from the jukebox. And he kept them in a record player, and I'd sit there with Grandma and Granddaddy every day. And when I come in at night from helping in the garden or whatever, first thing I'd do was go in there and grab Granddaddy's guitar and play with those records. And they were Merle and Charlie Pride and Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, the Louvin Brothers. And so that immediately hooked me. Granddaddy showed me a couple of chords, and I was hooked. And then a few years later, one day, my brother just decided he wanted a mandolin, and Mom and Dad thought it was just going to be a waste of money, But we bought him a mandolin, and he started singing harmony, and we traveled around the churches for years doing the Louvin Brothers gospel kind of deal. And then after that, we kind of ventured into the country, and Taylor went to playing lead guitar and mandolin. We hired a snare drum and our dad on bass, and Clyde Maddox on steel, and it just sort of took off from there. We've gotten to go a lot of places, and different, actually in Ireland a couple of times, in Scotland, and we've been very blessed.
There's a lot of big country music fans. I have a friend in Scotland, and they're getting ready for a big festival over there, and they're all excited about that, but they absolutely love traditional country over there.
Oh, man, they're so good. We worked with Don Helms for a couple of years. I know you're familiar with him.
Oh, yeah.
And we would do Hank Hank Williams tribute shows and different things, and I always wanted to take Don over to Ireland because the people over there just loved him.
Oh yeah.
But it never worked out. He passed away before we ever got a tour over there together. But those people over there really get it.
I got to meet Lynn Owsley a couple years ago. I was in Nashville at the Music City Bar and Grill.
Oh, I know Mr. Lynn. I love him.
And he came in, and we were talking about Ernest and all the days that they played poker on the bus and everything. And he pulled out of his pocket, he had a little case in his pocket, and he pulled it out and opened it up, and it was Don Helm's bar for playing steel guitar that he'd given him.
Well, Don was such a good guy. Speaking of the bar, he had a case that you carry your bar and picks in with Texas put on it. He had when he worked with Tubb. Don worked with Tubb for a little while.
Yep. And
he gave that to my brother. My brother treasures that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
There's
learned a lot from him and Merle.
The nice thing that I have discovered about a lot of these legendary artists and musicians is that they're very happy to carry on, or pass on the heritage to younger people, and I think that's a great thing,
It really is, cause without it was passing it on, it can't continue. So they realize that, and part of that's cause all those older artists are sincere and they love what they're doing, and it's not all about them; it's about the music, and that's the mentality everybody needs.
Amen. I'm glad to hear you say that, brother. That's awesome. How do you and Taylor come up with who's going to sing what song?
Well, Taylor and I kind of do it. We kind of do it like the Louvin brothers, as far as we know what works best for each other. And Taylor's really more happy playing guitar and playing mandolin, but Taylor's a great singer. And we kind of pass off, if Taylor knows this one fits me better, then I'll do it. If I know one fits him better, I let him do it. And we kind of work our harmony that way, too. We swap it for whoever can hit the high part better, whoever can hit the baritone part. So we just kind of play off each other, do it all strictly by feel.
Well, that's pretty cool. The times that I got to see you on the Merle Haggard show, I really liked that you guys would get on the same mic and sing harmony together. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, man, it's the hardest thing in the world to do is try to sing harmony with your brother when he's 10 feet away from you. You got to get in close. The old style harmony singing works best if you can get on one mic.
Absolutely. And you guys have a special blend of harmony, and I think there's a special little thing that happens when you have relation, when you're kin. There's a special harmony there.
Well, you really feel each other, and you know exactly what each other's thinking, so it kind of it is a different kind of deal than normal just singing together, I guess, as you could say.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow is a big day for you guys. You have a brand new album coming out. You signed a recording contract with Crosswinds Organic Records. And
yes, sir.
Your new album is produced by none other than bluegrass legend and Hall of Fame member Doyle Lawson.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's an honor, too, because I'm a huge Doyle fan, and his band, they're all great guys. And we met Mr. Doyle at Ralph Stanley's Bluegrass Festival, and when I approached him, he had actually heard of us, and I was just honored that he even knew who we were, And we started talking about Louvin brothers, and I had just bought Charlie Louvin's guitar.
Oh, wow.
And that kind of headed it off right there. We got talking about the Louvin brothers and different things, and so we struck up a friendship right to start with, and then he's the one that introduced us to the label, and we wanted him to produce the album, and actually, as far as Taylor and I are concerned, from here on out, we want him to produce, because he's like the third Malpass brother. He thinks the same way we do, and it's just great to have him, an honor to have him on the album.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really cool. Well, we are very privileged to be interviewing you the day before the album comes out, and tonight folks can still pre-order it at Amazon.com and, of course, the MalpassBrothers.com. We will put that information on our Facebook page as well. But tomorrow is the official release date, and it's a self-titled CD. And you guys have got some great songs on there, some songs you've written, some cover songs, and it's you're in for some really good country music, folks, let me tell you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that a whole lot.
Well, tell me about some of the songs on this album. Death in the Family is one that I really like on there.
Well, Mr. Doyle had sent me a list. He said, I know you guys got a lot of material. He said, but I'm going to send you some songs that I've got. He said, I've got probably 300 or 400 recordings of different old country songs. And I almost think he was testing me because he sent me a list, and one of the first songs that caught my ear was The Death in the Family that was recorded by Jimmy Dickens and written by Bill Anderson. And I called Doyle the next day. I said, man, I love the songs. I said, but Death in the Family, I've got to cut it. And he said, I knew. He said, I've waited for years for somebody to cut that. He said, and I put it on there to see if you'd get it.
Oh, wow.
And I said, man, we got to cut it. So it kind of worked out strange. We cut the song in December, and it wasn't long before Mr. Jimmy Dickens passed away. So it was kind of it was meant to happen, I think.
Yeah, fitting tribute, absolutely.
But it's a rip your heart out country song, and they're only good if they do that.
Yeah, absolutely, you know it, man. Well, that one, I gravitated to that one right away. And another one that I really like is "Learning to Love Me Too."
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's one that I wrote, and I write quite a few, and I wrote that one, and it's sort of a different style than some of the others. It's a little more probably on the Haggard style of writing, but I appreciate you saying that, and I hope folks like it.
It reminded me a lot of the kind of the Merle Haggard era with Freddie Powers, kind of that.
Oh,
that
man,
band.
that's my favorite era.
Yeah. You did a great job, and I love the song. It's those two songs in particular really, struck me as my favorites thus far, anyway. But there's some other great stuff on there. Taylor did a fantastic version of "Hello Walls."
Oh, yes, sir. He always gets a lot of requests for that, and people have been on him about cutting it for years. He really captures fire and sound really good on the album.
He sure does. And then, of course, "Begging You," the old Marty Robbins song.
Oh, yes, sir. We do a lot of Marty stuff.
And then you've got two Hank Senior songs on there as well.
I have always felt like Hank Williams has always kind of, ever since I started music, I've always done Hank, and then the Don thing. It seemed like something about Hank Williams always surfaced in every part of my career as long as I've done it this far, and I just didn't feel right doing an album without him kind of tipping my hat to the ones that brought me this far, because without Hank's music and these other guys' music, I'd be nobody,
Well,
you can't forget those guys.
Absolutely. You've got a real natural timbre in your voice that you can really nail those Hank songs real well.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that a whole lot.
And those songs are "I Just Don't Like This Kind of Living" and "Baby, We're Really in Love."
Yes, sir. Two good ones. I love those Hank numbers.
Yeah. And you closed it out with a song called "Satan and the Saint." Tell me about that one.
We did. I told Mr. Doyle, I said, look, if it's all right with you, Taylor and I would like to include a gospel number. Used to every country artist would do some gospel as well, and I said, we've got such a strong gospel background in Louvin Brothers. He said, well, I've got a treat for you. He said, you got Charlie's Martin. He said, I got one of Ira Louvin's mandolins. And we cut the song, and Taylor's playing Ira's mandolin, and I'm playing Charlie's guitar and doing one of the Louvin Brothers songs. So it was a real special treat for us to get to do that.
Wow, that's really cool. Boy, that adds some authenticity in there. You got the original instruments. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you had to. It's almost like you're not worthy of playing them when you do that. You're like, man, I'm stepping on sacred ground. But to get to put those instruments together on a Louvin Brothers song and knowing how strong Ira was at writing those great gospel numbers, it was really neat to get to do it. And I think everybody in the studio felt the same way about the cut, because it was it was like being there almost, getting to play those instruments and knowing that what they had done,
Man, I bet their spirits were with you that day.
Oh, yeah, Taylor couldn't keep the mandolin in tune. He figured Ira Louvin was in there messing with him.
Nice. That's a great song, too. That was a great album the Louvin Brothers had out. It was called "Satan is Real." And
Oh man, a great album.
One of their
best. They don't get hardly enough credit. They were the best, man.
Oh, absolutely. There was a great tribute album that was put out a few years ago to them, and Haggard did a cut on there with Chuck Jackson singing the Carl Jackson, singing the harmony part.
And nailed it.
Nailed it.
It sounded like it was something Merle would have cut in the '80s.
Yeah.
He just nailed it. It was his song after he got done with it.
Yep. Must You Throw Dirt in My Face. Classic.
Yes, sir.
Classic song, man. Well, that's very exciting news. You guys are busy. You got a lot of tour. I was looking at your website. You got stuff booked a year in advance. You guys are busy.
Yes, sir. We're staying very busy, and we hope to continue and get even busier because we love it every time we play, and it's what we live and breathe. And as long as the people enjoy it, and that's our main goal, is to make sure everybody in the audience. You can't please everybody, but we try our hardest to. And we want to make sure everybody in the audience leaves having a good time.
Well, I have always been very pleased with your performances, and it's always a pleasure to see you guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I hope we get a chance to hook up sometime down the road.
Well, thank you, sir, and I hope so, too.
And, folks, again, the MalpassBrothers.com, their brand new album comes out tomorrow. It's a self-titled album, and if you like country music, and I know you do, otherwise you aren't going to be listening to my show, I guarantee you're going to want this album.
Well, I ask them, please do follow us. We got a Facebook, too, and Taylor and I, we don't have anybody posting stuff. We do the posting, so we read every comment and try to keep in touch with everybody.
Well, that's good. I'll make sure and put some stuff on there from our page, too, and we'll stay in touch. I know I'm friends with Linda on Facebook, and that's kind of how I got in touch with you guys.
Yeah, she's my wife, and she's very supportive, and it takes that in its business, that's for sure.
Amen. You ain't going nowhere unless you got that, buddy.
That's exactly right.
Well, you tell her I said hello, and thank you very much for setting this up today. It has been a pleasure talking with you, Chris, and I'm so happy for you guys, and I love your music, and I'm so glad that we can share it with our audience.
Well, thank you, sir, and I appreciate it more than you ever know. We appreciate anybody that gives us an outlet for this kind of music, and we thank you for all you do.
Well, you're more than welcome, and we're glad to have you on. Anytime we can help you promote, you just give me a holler.
Thank you, sir, so much.
All right, we're going to play a song from the brand new album, and Chris, I want you to pick the song we're going to play next here.
Well, if you would like, you could play It'll Be Me. It's a Jerry Lee Lewis cut that Doyle Lawson brought to the table.
All right. Well, we're going to play that one right there. That's Chris Malpass on My Kind of Country. Thank you again, Chris, for being with us today here. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Here's the Malpass Brothers from their brand new album hitting the stores tomorrow, folks. This is It'll Be Me as My Kind of Country continues right here on Fish Creek Radio.